Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am answering all of the questions that you sent me. You guys sent me a ton of questions. In fact, there were so many that I thought I can't do this all in just one video because some of your questions I can't answer in 1 minute. I decided to split the video into the personal questions about me versus the homeschool things. So in this first video, it's going to be all about personal stuff. And then in the next video, I'll answer all of your questions about homeschool and curriculum and all the things regarding that. You asked me about YouTube, you asked me about self-care, you asked me about my husband and a few other things. That is the variety of questions that I'm going to answer on this video. First things first, you did not ask this question, but you need to know it. The salted caramel cold brew at Starbucks. It is so good. My husband got it for me because he knew I was recording a few videos today. And man, that foam is so salty and caramely. This one has vanilla in it. I always get less pumps because I like the coffee flavor and the pumps are just sugar. I've done the pumpkin foam cold brew, which was okay if you like pumpkin.
But this one is so good. It's so good.
If you guys go to Starbucks every once in a while for a treat, you should try it. First question is about YouTube. If you're curious about YouTube, leave a comment below because I'm happy to share with you the things that I've learned about it. I've even thought about, man, I have learned so much about YouTube in the past year and a half of me having a channel and how to grow a channel that I've thought about.
Well, I should start a second channel on YouTube for moms.
Because there's a lot of information about how to start a channel and grow and all that stuff out there, but it's a lot to sift through. And I just happen to be a sifter. So I have done a lot of research this past year. In fact, of all the YouTube videos that I consume, how to help my channel is probably a big part of those videos. Because if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. I want to help you guys, but I also don't want to feel like my efforts are in vain. So how do I get my videos out there to you? So anyway, if you have questions about YouTube specifically, you can leave them below because if there's enough questions, maybe I would do a video all about YouTube. So anyway, this one in particular was just asking me for editing tips, and to whoever, I didn't write down who asked me these questions, so I'm really sorry. I just realized that. That's a really big question because I'm still learning about editing. So I thought, how do I answer this one quickly? So one thing that is a tip that I definitely did not know about or think about when I first started recording is if you look right now where my head is on this screen, you'll notice my face is kind of up towards the top versus down here, where some of my early videos I tried to center my face on the screen, or sometimes it would be way down here, and that's kind of, as a viewer, it's kind of awkward to watch. And if you look at movies and other TV shows and stuff, they keep the head up there. So that's one of my first tips. And then another tip that I do that not everybody does, if I am shooting a video and I have ums or ahs or long pauses, or like if I'm showing you curriculum and I'm trying to flip through pages to get to the right page, I cut all that stuff out because I am trying to save you time and get rid of all this extra fluff in my video that you don't need to see. You don't need to sit there and watch me flip to a page for 10 seconds. So if I have a long pause or if I'm thinking or anything like that where it's not pertinent to what you actually need to see, I try to cut it out. And the other thing I do to help keep you more engaged and interested in my video is sometimes I will have a background music. That really depends on what my video is about and how long my video is. I have some long videos out there. Definitely, if my video is going to be longer than 20 minutes, I am most likely going to put music in there because I do not want you to get bored halfway through and leave my video. So those are some of my quick YouTube editing tips. So my favorite Bible passage. How do you pick a favorite Bible passage? If you have a favorite Bible passage, I guess let me know below, but I would say my favorite depends on what I'm going through at that time and how the Lord is speaking to me. But if I had to say that there was one passage that I am consistently drawn to,
Man, even that, there's so many.
There's too many that I love, but I will say that one that I bring up frequently is from Hebrews 10, where it talks about the blood of bulls and goats can never take away sin. And then it talks about what Jesus did for us and how he replaced the sacrifices and he replaced the high priest, and how pretty much he is our great high priest now, and he's sitting in heaven waiting forever for his enemy to become a footstool. I'm sorry, I love explaining that to my kids. You know what a footstool is? Like, look at me lounging back in this chair, putting my feet up on the stool. Like, that's what Jesus is doing in heaven, and that's what his enemies are going to become. I love that picture of Jesus, that he is patient. Him and God, the Holy Spirit, they are patient. There's nothing out of their control, and they are just waiting until the right time for them to do their thing. And what is their thing? They're going to win. They are eventually going to win the victory overall. Their goodness is going to overcome all evil. So I love Hebrews 10. It's like the gospel in one chapter. What is your dream vacation? I know who asked this one, Colleen. I have so many interests. Here's another one. Like, I love too many things. I can't say one thing over another. But if I had to say a dream vacation, I suppose I would say a European tour. I could not pick just one country in Europe. I would love to go see things in Italy and France and England, Switzerland, in Spain, all over Europe. I would love to see that, but here's the catch too. I don't want to have to plan it myself, because that would be too overwhelming to go see Europe and have to know where to go and where to stay and what's a good deal and what's not a good deal. So I would want somebody to plan it for me, and not just anybody. I know that this company can be controversial with some and other, but let's just be honest. Disney knows how to entertain you. So if Disney took over, because they're all about the customer service, like, guys, seriously, I live in the middle of Illinois, and Disney has come and talked to the company where my husband works to explain to them about customer service. Like, they're not just about Disney World and everything. They've got it figured out how to please the customer and make everything magical. I want them to plan my European tour, because they'll pick the best of the best, and I will just feel like I'm in a dream. Okay, how do I plan self-care? How do I take care of myself and keep myself healthy so that I can take care of my family? This is a constant battle, I'll be honest. It's one of those things that I think as moms, we tend to overlook, that we do have to put our own oxygen mask on before assisting others. We're so busy taking care of the needs of our husband and our children and our church and everybody else that we let ourselves get run down. And I know I am guilty of this. I have not figured out how to get enough sleep. I'm just a horrible sleeper. I think I might have some form of insomnia. And so I am tired all the time. So how do I take care of myself? I need alone time. So sometimes my husband will take my kids away. Every once in a while, he has even taken them out of town and let me be at home by myself. That is huge for me. I just need to have the house clean and to just rest for a couple days and know it's not going to get messed up. That actually does fill my cup, I'll be honest. I need coffee dates with friends. I need girl time to sit and chit chat with friends who I love, friends who I can get deep with. I'm not a superficial friendship type of girl. In fact, I hate small talk, and I'm really bad at small talk if I've known you for a while. If I'm just meeting you, sometimes I think I'm a bit awkward if I don't know you up front, but once I get to know you, I want to get deeper fast. I just don't like small talk. If I have a deeper relationship with you, then small talk is fine. It's easy. But if I don't have a relationship with you, I don't like small talk. So I kind of digress there. Self-care. I need to have my regular time with the Lord. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and he'll add all these other things to you. It's the truth, and our flesh fights against it, but I'm telling you, when I do that, I am able to do all the other things. I am trying to get healthy for 2022. I'm trying to the quarantine and all that stuff did a toll on a lot of people's health, including mine, and I have just decided this year it's got to stop. I got to get back to more healthy habits. So one of the things that I'm trying to concentrate on this year is drinking a lot more water and eating a lot more vegetables. And I do Beachbody also. So exercise is a lot harder the older that you get, but it really does make you feel better. So I'm trying to do that more, but I have to tell you this about Beachbody. One of the dietitians who does videos on Beachbody, a really helpful tip that she said is water first, veggies most. So make sure you're getting your water in. It's the absolute most important thing. You cannot be healthy without water. And then veggies the most, because those will fill you up, right? And I was thinking of this in terms of our spiritual needs. And I was thinking water first. The Word of God is referred to as water. Jesus, with the woman at the well, said, the water that I give you, you'll never thirst again. In Ephesians, it talks about being sanctified through the water of the Word. And I was thinking, water first. Yeah. It's impossible to physically be healthy without physical water, and it's impossible to be spiritually healthy and a healthy person without spiritual water. So I also did a video. I don't know if you've seen it yet. This video here is one of my absolute favorite videos, and you can tell by the thumbnail here, I was actually kind of poking a little bit of fun at what helps you have a successful school day, as if it's like a trip to the spa or something, and that kind of self-care. So this video has some great tips for how to have a good school day, but I love the video also because the beginning of it is kind of like a little skit that I did with my kids. It's a little humorous, and then I give the great tips, and then my kids say what they think makes a successful school day, and they have some funny answers also. And then there's some bloopers at the end with my dog that I just think are so fun. So go check out that video for self-care and how to get through the school day. I was asked about budgeting. So how I budget just in general and for homeschool. I gotta say, oh boy, you caught me. I am not good at budgeting. My husband actually is the one who pays the bills. He's really not into
creating a budget.
But we are savers. We like to save money and look for good deals. And so I will say, like, when I was single, here's things that I did for general budgeting. I had something wrapped around my credit card so that every time I swiped it, I wrote down immediately what it is that I purchased, so that whenever I was coming back up to another purchase, I had a visual representation right in front of me of every single transaction that I had already done that month. And I have to say, when I did that, it made me so much more aware of the money that I was spending, and I thought a lot more deliberately about the purchases I was making, and I saved a lot more money when it was constantly in front of my face like that. I also just recently purchased the Penny Pincher Planner. If you have not checked out this video, you got to check out this planner, because they do have a monthly budgeting worksheet in there. And on each day of the planner, it has a little slot where you can write down what your purchases were for the day. So I personally have been doing that. My problem with budgeting is I don't know when my husband's buying things. So if he's not bought into also writing his stuff down, I don't know. That's a way you could do it. Another thing that I've always wanted to try that the Penny Pincher Planner also has, they also have a money planner with the envelopes. And I think Dave Ramsey might be a cheerleader of this method. So like if you want to say your monthly grocery budget is $500, you would get $500 cash and you would put it on the envelope, and you pay cash for everything out of the envelope, and that way you are very much aware how much money you have left for each of those categories. And then at the end of the month, if you need maybe to go buy some clothes or some shoes and you have some food money left over, like you can have money switch between envelopes. Again, it just keeps you very aware of the money that's flying out the door, because you probably know when you're swiping credit cards, it's very easy to not pay attention to the money that's going out the door. We save money in ways like when my daughters were in ballet or gymnastics, I would pay the whole year up front because it would give you like a 10 or 15% discount. I am always for paying it up front to save money. My husband and I, like our property taxes, we do not pay those on a monthly basis to the bank. We pay them in 2 large chunks throughout the year, so that throughout the year we are gaining the interest on that money and not the city who's getting my property taxes. So every little penny like that counts. My husband's parents are very generous with us for our anniversary, birthdays, Christmas. So we get a lot of gift cards and just cash for that. So we use those for special things that we want to purchase. So like for homeschool expenses, our very first year homeschooling, I created a spreadsheet to keep track of, like when I was pricing curriculum out, which place had it the cheapest, could I buy it used, and how much money, where would that be? I'm almost always looking to buy used first if that's possible. Facebook groups have used curriculum groups. For like the very popular curriculums, they almost always have a group dedicated to selling your used curriculum. So that is an excellent place to save money for homeschooling materials. I go to thrift stores. I have a thrift store. If you watched my video where I did a day in the life shopping trip with my daughter, and we went to a couple of our local thrift stores where we were looking for school supplies and stuff like that. If I think I can thrift it, I will. I used to garage sale a lot in the day, so things like furniture and desks and stuff. I'm about getting that type of stuff used and slapping some paint on it. So the summer of 2020, because nobody was going anywhere, right? And then the government was just sending us a bunch of checks. That year, we saved some money in gas from my husband not driving to work. We sold one of our vehicles because I was like, if you're not going back to work, we don't need two vehicles. We don't need to pay for all that insurance. So we've saved money that way. And then I had a humongous, I'm not a yearly garage sale person, but we wanted to go on a vacation. I mean, who wasn't sick of being stuck in the house?
I was like, I gotta get out of this house. I gotta get out of the state.
I mean, I was in Illinois. It was one of those very restricted states.
I wanted to go someplace where I could be free.
So we went to Tennessee that summer. But it was a more expensive vacation than what we are normally used to budgeting for. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew how many days I wanted to be gone, and I knew kind of what the prices of all the activities that I wanted to do was. And we knew that we wanted to earn some more income so that that vacation wasn't too big of a hit out of our wallet. We were all quarantined, right? We weren't going anywhere. We cleaned out every single room in our house, looking for stuff to sell. We sold stuff on Facebook Marketplace. We sold like a bunch of our kids' clothes that I still had. We sold it by the tub. So that was so much easier to sell it that way than pricing out every little thing. So basically, we put on Facebook like a tub of size 3T girls' clothes, $50 or $60 or however much, because I did kind of go through the tubs to see what was there, see how nice the stuff was, and I kind of in my head thought, what would I sell this for at a garage sale? And we sold it by the tub. I made the same amount of money I would have at a garage sale, but I didn't have to sit there like I would at a garage sale. I didn't have to set anything up. People came to my house, people just purchased it almost sight unseen. Came to my house, picked up the tub, and cleanup was easy. And we made a lot of money that summer cleaning out the house and selling it through Facebook Marketplace garage sales. Another way that we save money is I have an American Express Blue card. If you are the type of family who is able to pay off your credit card monthly, which we do, we don't carry balances at all. Most credit cards will give you 1% cash back. This American Express Blue card gives us 2% cash back, and on some things, 5%. That's really nice. Probably the most rewarding credit card that I've ever had. And if we're gonna go to a restaurant like P.F. Chang's, for example, a lot of times you could go to Costco and buy $100 worth of gift cards for the restaurants, and you can buy them for $80. I do that all the time too, and I just keep a bunch of gift cards in my bag, but I'm saving 20% almost every time we go out. I go to Starbucks frequently, but I get a ton of Starbucks gift cards as gifts from friends and family. So I don't feel like I spend a lot of money at Starbucks. Like all these gift cards, they just keep being thrown at me. I hope that was helpful. The last question is, how did I meet my husband? How do I tell this story in a nutshell? My husband was dating one of my friends. I didn't steal him away. So he was dating one of my friends, and it was his birthday. We all worked for the same company. Let me just also say, this is a really, really large company where you don't know everybody, like thousands of people in the same office type of company. So I didn't know who he was. But it was his birthday, and she said, he's got snacks at his desk. Come meet him. And so I went with her, and I met him. Didn't think anything of it. A couple weeks later, my girlfriend and him and all of their friends, they had an extra football ticket to a professional football game and asked me if I wanted to come with them. I was 24. So I was still pretty young out of college. I had a active social life, I guess, and I wanted to meet new people and make new friends. So I decided to go. I didn't know anybody really except for my girlfriend. And so we were at the football game. My husband is very witty. I've gotten a lot of comments on this channel about my humor. I don't view myself as humorous at all. My husband is humorous. He's extremely witty. He's off the cuff, funny, and he catches you off guard all the time. He's the type of person that even if I'm mad at him, he makes me laugh, which is so annoying. But anyway, that first night that I hung out with him, he was making little jokes all night, and I was snickering all night long, giggling at every single joke that he made. And my girlfriend was in a bad mood, so she was not amused. She was not laughing at his jokes. I thought he was so funny. Oh, I left that game, and I went home and told my mom, and I said, I don't understand why they're dating. I don't see why they're together. They were so different. I really didn't see it. She was not a Christian. I was driving to the game in the car with him, and she was mad at him for something, so she wasn't talking. It was kind of awkward. I was the third wheel in the back seat, and we were driving to the game, and all of a sudden we passed this church, and my husband just out of the blue said, I was saved at a Southern Baptist church. And I remember being like looking at her and looking at him like, okay, she doesn't even go to church. What are you doing with her? And confused. And so anyway, he and I started talking about the Lord right there in front of her. And that was one of the contributing things where she wasn't laughing at his jokes all night. He brought up the Lord. I knew she didn't even go to church. I'm like, what are these people even doing together? I went home and told my mom that. I was like, he was hilarious. I don't understand why they're dating each other, but it's not like I was instantly attracted to him, because believe me, I was not. I was not attracted to him in any way, shape, or form. I just thought he was funny. The following week at work, all of a sudden I was being included in their friend group emails and the little jokes and banter and stuff that they did over email. By the way, we all worked at the same company. So I started being included in the group emails with my girlfriend and all this and all these other guys. It was kind of nice because I thought, oh, these are really nice people. You know, I'm going to get to know them, like, hey, new friends, right? And then a few weeks later, my girlfriend broke up with my husband. I still didn't think anything of it, if I'm being honest with you, except for literally the day after or the day of, I don't remember. He started emailing me and was like,
Why? Why did she break up with me? I don't understand what went wrong.
He was just contacting me so frequently. I don't remember. This is so long ago, you guys. I don't remember how long this went on, where I felt like he was wanting my advice or wanting to understand why they broke up. In the back of my head, I was like,
is this for real? Like, I barely know you.
Why are you contacting me about this? I kind of told him, I in my head was like, I'm starting to get tired of this. And thinking in my head, if we're going to be friends, that's fine. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about your failed relationship over and over and over again. I'm over this. I'm done. And so I sent him an email where I was brutally honest. In my head, I was like, all right, I guess this is going to see what happens here, because I was so honest. I did not mince words. I basically said, I ain't talking about this anymore. You need to move on. And I thought he's either going to never speak to me again, or this is going to be a great foundation for our friendship. Obviously, he took what I said pretty well and thanked me for being honest, and we moved on. And even to this day, I should ask him, was he really just asking me those questions because he was devastated by this breakup, or was he really just trying to win my trust? I guess I've never really asked him that. But after that, we were friends. And then he came to tell me after at that football game that all of his friends after that night, while he was still dating my girlfriend, was like, you need to break up with her and you need to go after Rachel because she's more your type. She's awesome. We want to be friends with her and get rid of this other one. And I had no idea that they had said that, but I thought that's kind of interesting that I came home and told my mom the same thing. Like, why are they even together? I don't get it. So that was the basis of our friendship, and I still wasn't interested in him in any way, shape, or form. And I started dating somebody else, and he dated somebody on and off. During that course of time, he and I were friends. We took lots of breaks together. Honestly, like at work, we break together, we had lunch together. We spent a lot of time together at work, but I was dating somebody else almost like as a buffer because I was like, I'm not interested in Darren at all. In fact, I was trying to be like,
oh, I should set you up with so-and-so. I should set you up with my friend over here.
That's kind of how much I was like, dude, stay away from me, not interested. Our spiritual relationship started to grow, and I started talking to him about the Lord. I started exhorting him about his faithfulness to church because he was not being faithful at that time, which explains why he was dating her. And so I was coming to church, and let me just put this way too, because this is a really important part of my story and what makes part of our story very, very unique. Very, very unique. And I didn't give it a whole lot of thought at the time, but now me and my friends, we laugh about it now. I lived with my parents at the time, and we lived about halfway in between where I worked, which was a half an hour drive, to where we went to church, which was a half an hour drive the other way. So where my husband lived was an hour away from my church, okay? But he wasn't being faithful. I was exhorting him. We were talking a lot about the Lord, and so I just invited him to church. And he took me up on it, and he came. But remember, I was also dating somebody else who also lived an hour away from my church, who was also coming. So for probably 3 or 4 months in my teeny tiny church of about 70 people, I was sitting in my pew with the guy I was dating on one side of me and my future husband on the other side of me. I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, you know what? Men are saved by the foolishness of preaching. I'm going to invite you. I'm going to invite you. I'm going to invite you to my church. So I had my husband on one side and my boyfriend on the other side, and worshiping the Lord together. I broke up with the other guy. I never was really interested in him. Looking back now, just kind of kept him as a buffer between me and Darren because I didn't want to give Darren any ideas that I was interested in him at all because, like I said, at first I wasn't. But then as our friendship developed, obviously I started having feelings for him even while I was dating this other person. So I broke up with this other person, and then Darren told me a couple weeks later that he was interested, which was pretty obvious at that time. And I gotta say, so we had been friends for about 6 months before he expressed an interest in me beyond friendship, and it was a very scary line to cross because at that point in time I literally considered him my best friend. We had grown that close together. I probably talked with him on the phone as much as anybody else. I spent time with him, like I said, at lunch. We even went to dinner sometime and ran errands sometimes together. So even as friends, we spent a lot of time together. And I didn't want to lose that. And I was smart enough to know that you don't usually cross the line from friendship into something more. And if it doesn't work out, you go back to friendship. If it doesn't work out, it's usually dead and gone forever. And so that was a really tough decision to think, do I want to risk my friendship for this relationship? I did, and obviously it worked out. So from that point on, we dated for a little over a year. Then we got engaged. We were engaged for 6 months exactly. And then we got married, and we have been married for going to be 18 years this year. Still makes me laugh. And I always tell people, marriage is not easy. We have had our fair share of ups and downs, but I still like him. You know that saying, like, you can love somebody but not like them? I still genuinely like my husband. I like to be around him. The foundation of the friendship that we had at first, where we were not in a relationship, we really let our friendship grow into something really great. That has been the foundation of our marriage and what has kept me from holding a grudge with him when he hurts my feelings, or helps us come back together when we've had disagreements, is we genuinely like each other. We like being around each other, we like spending time with each other, and we like to make each other laugh. So there you have it. My next Q&A video is going to be all about homeschooling. Check out the video that I suggested over here. Give this video a like. Bye.